Good afternoon, good Monday, depending on how you look at things, I guess. Justin Rose with you, sports reporter here at WXYZ. Welcome to the weekly WXYZ Sports Digital Lunch conversation on all topics, ranging from your Detroit Lions to the Pistons, to the Red Wings, Michigan State. We're just underway here, and we got an hour of just unfiltered talk. Let's just lay it all out on the line. I'm going to send a quick tweet out here, and if you want to follow along and get involved in the conversation, it's really easy to do that. You can either follow me on Twitter at JRoseWXYZ. Sorry, I can't talk and type at the same time. Max White, our digital producer, is helping out today. Max, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you feeling after that Lions loss?
You know what? I'm fine with it. I'm done. I mean, I'm not done, but I'm done. I'm done caring. I think I told you last week. You know, someone at work was like, hey, did the Lions win? I didn't hear you slamming on your desk at all. It's because I just don't care anymore. You know, the season's over. I'm going to watch the game because I have to. But I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to let it ruin my day. And, you know, good for fans and good on the Lions for having that game being done by 11 o'clock because fans could go about their day, have an entire Sunday to themselves for probably the first time in 8 weeks.
Yeah, it was nice that it got out of the way early in the morning, as you said. We're going to talk about the Lions as we continue to go forward. We're going to talk about Michigan's win over Minnesota. And for some of those Michigan fans out there who were going, gosh, that Michigan State game, what a fluke, what a fluky way to win a game. Awful quiet right now. It's okay. A win is a win, and you got the win. But when other teams get you like that and they kind of shoot themselves in the foot themselves, well, you know, it is what it is. We'll get to that later. But we want your phone calls. We want your tweets. We want your messages. Get in touch with us any way you can. It's on the WXYZ Facebook page, the WXYZ homepage. Tweet at me, JRoseWXYZ. Call in, 248-356-0077. Looks like we got a caller already coming in right now. But before we get to the first call, I have to just ask Detroit Lions fans this question. What do you want the organization to do? Now, it's an easy thing to say. We want them to fire Jim Caldwell. We want them to fire Martin Mayhew. Great. That's fine and dandy. But what do you want them to do? This franchise is at a very, very interesting crossroads, if you ask me. Maxwell, when I think about the future of the Lions, I'm wondering what exactly is the right move, what the necessary move is to move forward. If you fire Mayhew and you fire Caldwell, you can't miss again. You can't miss again. The fan base that the Lions have is on the verge of literally giving up. We're going back to the days of blackouts in your own city when you can't sell out Ford Field. So I'm simply asking the question whether or not, what do you want them to do? Seth is taking our first phone call and getting it in. That's my question for you. What do you want them to do? Don't just call up or tweet in and say, we want them to fire Mayhew. Because that's obvious. That they're cleaning house. The organization will not be as it is this time next year. We all know that. But it's also like, wondering what we're going to do. All right, let me take this phone call real quick. Get my earpiece in. Wait, do I pick up first? Yeah, do this.
Hello, sir. Hello, this is Dr. Steven Sweetek, calling all the way from beautiful Clinton Township, Michigan.
Clinton Township? My sister lives in that area. Very nice area.
We're the largest area of its kind here, and like we're the 11th largest population of the township too. So we're up and running.
All right. What's going on today?
My major concern is, and I'm a Spartan. I'm actually the president of the Michigan State College of Osteopathic Medicine Alumni Association. I've been to the Super Bowl. I've been to the Cotton Bowl. When I get cut, I bleed green. And I feel that most of the newscasters, and Channel 7, I love you guys. I watch you guys all the time. I don't go to bed before I see you guys for night newscasts. And it seems like you give us a second rating. Michigan State, it seems like we've made it, and we've actually have to keep proving ourselves. And when I hear these comments, it's always Michigan State lost, and then or U of M beat Michigan State. It's always a negative connotation there, and we would like to be recognized as an equal to our brother in Ann Arbor.
Okay, I hear your complaint. I guess, is it a complaint? Can I classify it as a complaint?
I would say a concern.
A concern. Well,
it actually probably helped us attain what we have.
Well, Doc, let me tell you one thing. Let me shoot you straight here, because I also am a Michigan State alum. So, to say that we don't cover Michigan State enough, I made 6 trips to East Lansing in 10 days.
We are happy to hear that.
So the coverage is by far as equal as we can. Brad Galley does an amazing job with Jim Harbaugh every Monday, and that's an opportunity that we have as a station that we really enjoy, bringing people closer to Jim Harbaugh. Obviously, learning his trick-or-treat stories of changing his costumes, that's funny. But to say that we don't cover Michigan State the same way, I hear what you're saying. And the blue wall that has been talked about and kind of perpetuated almost within the fans' mind has been definitely broken down. I hear what you're saying, and the thing is when you look at that game, can you really tell me that Michigan State deserved to beat Michigan this year? Can you really do it?
What we lack in talent, we make up in luck, and the gods are with us this year.
Sure, and I don't disagree with that at all. But
and I looked at the U of M game.
Hang on a second.
The U of M game, I think it looked like our game, just the opposite for Minnesota this weekend.
Exactly. So to say that Michigan deserved to win yesterday or on Saturday, that's probably not true. But to say that Michigan State deserved to win 2 weeks ago, that's not true. It's the same thing. We were just talking about a win is a win, and both teams are going to take them and move forward. You're never going to apologize for one. But I appreciate the concern, the watch. We're doing our best to try to keep it as fair and balanced as we can. So keep on watching and call us back if you're disgruntled once again, my friend.
We think the world of you guys. I can't sleep without seeing what's happening in Michigan from Channel 7.
And
you guys do a wonderful job.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
All right, there he is, the Doc, getting in. Yeah, I want to talk about Michigan, and we will touch on Michigan State. They didn't play this week, but so Michigan is the lead. But we'll get to that in the second half an hour, at about 20 more minutes or so. But I still want to stick to the Lions because I think we've got more people concerned with questions and phone calls. 248-356-0077. Once again, 248-356-0077. Get the calls in, get the tweets in.
We've got a question from Ken here. Why hasn't the Ford family addressed this terrible, embarrassing play by their football team? What is going to be done about this and stopping the surgery coding answers?
Well, and that's the thing that really perplexes me about this entire situation. It's because the players come out and they say, we have to be more accountable. We have to be more accountable for our play on the field.
And that's if the players speak.
And that's the players saying that, and it's true. But accountability goes beyond the players on the field. It goes beyond the coaches. It goes beyond the general manager. It goes all the way up to the ownership level. And that's where I can't fathom this organization changing its tune, the ownership changing its tune to the point where I would love to hear I think we talked about this last week with our friend Adam, who was here from the Detroit Sports Podcast. Do you want an owner who's like Jerry Jones, who's on the field taking snaps from his quarterback before the game for fun, or do you want an owner who's invisible, like the Ford family? I tend to believe you want somewhere in the middle. I think that's the way that you do it, somewhere in the middle. But And this is what it boils down to for me. This is really what it boils down to for me. They don't care about you. They don't care about you, and they don't care about winning. And they'll say that they care about winning, but they don't care about winning. What have they done to prove to you that they're willing to do whatever it takes to win?
They haven't. There's nothing they've done.
So why are you spending money on the Lions? That's my bottom line question. Because we live in a society where sports is driven by cash. It's not about the love of the game anymore, guys. If you're still thinking that, you're well behind. Now, if you want to go watch the love of the game, go watch high school football. That's the love of the game. No one's getting paid for that. You can't even watch college athletics anymore because that's not even about the love of the game. It's a financially driven system.
It's a business.
Sports is a business.
That's what it is. It's a business first.
They don't pay me because I love to talk about sports. It's a business. This is a business. And so the moment that you think otherwise, you're behind and you're falling into the trap. I mean, I can't fathom the idea of being a true diehard Lions fan. How would you ever get involved with what have they ever proven or shown you? Why? Okay, so take yourself out of Michigan. You live somewhere else. Are you just going to cheer for the Steelers because you live in Pittsburgh? Probably. But that's not fandom. Fandom is attaching yourself to a organization with ideological, I can buy into that system. I can I look at some of my favorite teams around like the Pirates. I love the Pittsburgh Pirates. I have no shame in telling people I love the Pittsburgh Pirates. Why? Because I love the organization, I love the manager, I love the players, I love how they handle things. Now, to be fair to the Pittsburghers out there who are going to call and be like, well, they lost for 20 years. They didn't make the playoffs. They had the longest playoff drought in baseball. Yeah, they did. And they finally had an owner in Bob Nutting step up and finally say, you know what, I'm done. I'm getting involved. I'm putting myself out there. I interviewed him countless times when I worked in Pittsburgh. Countless. I would call up, hey, Bob around today? Yeah, come on down. Walked right into his office, sat down with the owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates. That was how easy it was. The transparency and the accountability of him to open his doors and say, I am opening myself to questions from you. No one briefed me. No one said, no, don't ask Bob about this. Of course, he's not going to tell me trade secrets of the business, but at the same time, I didn't go in there thinking like I was going to break some massive story. And neither would I if I had an opportunity to talk to the Fords. It would be, guys, what are you going to do about this? Do you understand that there's people angry? Do you understand that you're losing a fan every single day? Do you understand that your organization is the laughingstock of the NFL? They can't be blind to these ideas. They can't be like, everything's fine. You're 1-7. You ain't getting any better. And if you make a trade right now, you have a lame duck general manager and a lame duck coach. Sadly, I love Jim Caldwell. I really think he's a good coach. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but I really do like at least the fundamental ideology that he comes and brings to a program. But he's playing with broken pieces. I mean, later on today on WXYZ.com, Maxwell's going to put together a really nice article talking about the misses of draft picks over the past 5 years. We're not talking about 10 years ago. We're talking about the guys that should be playing well. Your first and second rounders and occasionally hitting on a third, fourth, fifth guy. Where are they all? They're all gone. I think the 2009 or 11 draft class is completely gone.
I mean, how did
all of them?
The Patriots, they're a team that picks in the bottom third every single year. Somehow they figure it out. And we've got a couple tweets. One from Mark that said #fire Mayhew, LaJuan Caldwell, #cleanhouse. Another from Steve Santostasi, who said sell the team to someone who actually cares about winning and putting a good product on the field. I've never been a guy that bought into the whole Fords need to sell the team. I'm in. Now, I think they need to sell the team. And there's the clean house. I think you clean house. If it were up to me, you clean house from everybody. From the owner sells the team, and then you bring in another person. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But I think they need to clean house from the president and general manager of Tom LaJuan and Martin Mayhew all the way down. Now, I know everyone loves Terrell Austin. Even the defense hasn't been playing as well as they did last year. Given they got rid of Ndamukong Suh, given Andre Levy isn't, playing right now, but still, do you fire Caldwell now and give Terrell Austin a chance at the head coaching job and see how he does, and maybe keep him at the end of the season?
I mean, it's a thought. But that's the question, and that's what everyone wants to know. Everyone's there sitting here going, scratching their head, and just wondering, You just have to wonder. You have to face it, guys. We're the Browns. The Lions are the Browns.
I always thought
but watching what the Browns have done, and they've never gotten out of their own way. The Browns still can't win, guys. The Lions still can't win, and no matter who you bring in as a general manager, no matter who you bring in as a head coach, it's just not working. The Browns have done it. I mean, I think the Browns have had more coaches than the Lions had by like a few, but the Lions have had a lot of head coaches in the past 15 years. Like. Here's the thing about the Ford selling the team, and it's just the brutal honest truth. They sell out Ford Field every week. You're giving them money. They don't care. They don't care if you like the team, don't like the team. Sure, they want to win. They don't care.
They want money.
They want the money. Yep. Give me the money. Straight cash. And until there is a change up at the very tippy top, some accountability from the very tippy top, I severely question whether or not the Lions are ever going to be a team that you don't have you don't have a national fan base because everyone thinks the Lions kind of suck.
No, we have a laughing stock of the National Football League.
Like,
did you see?
Oh yeah, I saw the tweets that they put together from the Freep.
Brian Manzula did a
great
job with that.
Finding all the things. I mean, it's laughable, guys. And the changes. Here's what they need to do. All right, so I'm putting on my football ownership hat. If I'm the owner of the Lions, this is what you do. First of all, you trade Calvin Johnson and you try to get whatever you can for Matthew Stafford and you unload those huge contracts. This is all hypothetical, by the way. Trade those guys away. Then you fire Martin Mayhew and you fire Jim Caldwell today, and Terrell Austin, and you get rid of everybody. You clean house. Now, here's the one problem with that is if you do those things, you can't really make a meaningful hire until after the season is done anyways, simply based upon people are tied up in other jobs. The guys that you're going to want to try to hire are still working for other teams, and the teams will not allow you to just middle of the season pick them up and bring them into your organization. So that's one thing that is for sure. So you need a placeholder of sorts. This is where ownership comes into play, I think. I think this is where ownership either looks in the mirror and gives themselves a real hard look and say, can I at least try to figure out what I can do to position ourselves for a better future? And that means being involved. That means being involved in the day-to-day. That means being involved in everything. Now, that's a lot different than what the Fords do now. But again, it's me as the owner, not anybody else. So I fire everybody and I get really involved. And I start talking to the players that I have on my current roster, and I start evaluating how much they really want to be here. Because you can't win with players who don't want to be here. And all of them are going to say they want to be here. Well, do you ever go to your job and have a bad day and then your boss comes up to you and goes, well, you even want to be here? Well, of course you're going to say yes, because you don't want to get fired. But do you really want to be here? Let's have some difficult conversations. Let's get involved. I'm the owner. I'm getting involved. I'm talking to my players. I'm identifying who I want to be a core of this team. And then what I'm doing is I'm going out there and I'm hiring the best recruiting, the best talent evaluators that money can buy. Because let's be honest, guys, that's why all the teams are winning. You look at the Green Bay Packers, who got killed, by the way, in Denver last night. I mean, it happens.
That was a shock.
It happens. But you look at the Denver Broncos. You look at the New England Patriots. It's because they have evaluators of talent who can go out and say, you know what, Dion Lewis, he's a seventh rounder, kind of a journeyman in the NFL. Played it in Philadelphia for a little while, didn't really get much touches, shadowed by other players. Now he's a superstar. Now he's a stud. You know why? Because somebody said, that guy's got a lot of talent. And I know he's got a lot of talent. And if you put him in these situations, he's going to be able to be talented. Look what they did with Jonas Gray last year. Same guy. This year, he's a complete bust. It's the way that you coach him and the way that you evaluate the talent and understand, like, this guy can do this guy can do that. I'm not going to go into the whole, because we'll run out of time, trying to talk about how to fix Matthew Stafford, how to fix Calvin Johnson, or how to fix the offensive line. Because guess what, guys? It ain't fixable. It ain't fixable because the players don't want to fix it. If they want to fix it, it would be fixed. Landry and Waddle wouldn't be getting smoked getting embarrassed. He should be ashamed of himself.
What about Riley Reef? That's a first-round pick.
Should be ashamed of himself.
I mean, that goes, and this is like what I'm going to write about later. I'm not even going to go through just the first, second, third-round picks. I'm going to go draft pick by draft pick, pull each of their stats. I mean, this is just, and I brought it up a couple weeks ago. If you look at the second-round picks from Martin Mayhew's time, we have Darius Slay on the team, Amir Abdullah on the team, and Kyle Van Noy, who's finally playing, still on the team.
He's playing, but I don't know if he's playing well.
He's playing, but exactly it. You have no Titus Young, none of these guys. And it's just, these are the picks where you need to hit on somebody and you need to find somebody.
And that comes back to your talent evaluation and the fact that they have no talent evaluation. The current setup for the Lions is not working. And until you can, so again, I'm owner, and I'm going out. The first thing I'm doing is I'm finding talent evaluators, and I'm going, pick this guy from college. I want to pick this guy. There's enough people out there that devote their entire lives to talent evaluation. I'm sure you could find a guy that is willing to come and work at a first-rate organization if you choose to make it one. Because right now the Lions are not a first-rate organization. All right, 248-356-0077. We've got about 10 more minutes on the Lions. Get your thoughts in. Here's a question I want to ask people. When did you turn it off on Sunday? What point of the game did you just turn it off? Get those questions in, comments, concerns. 248-356-0077. J Rose, WXYZ on Twitter. And, of course, the WXYZ Twitter handle is WXYZ Detroit. Jim Harbaugh and the players are talking right now. Brad Galley is in there. I think I'm going to give him a phone call here relatively quickly. Yeah, text Brad, would you? Tell him to call in when he's done with his Harbaugh thing, because I'd be interested to hear from what Harbaugh has to say after that win. Because look, Harbaugh knew. He knows what it's like to be on both sides of those things, not just at Michigan, but in his career. And I think that they handled that the bounce back loss very well. That's still a good football team. It'll be interesting to see how that Penn State game looks a lot more intriguing to me than it did maybe at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it does.
Because Penn State played pretty well. I don't know if I buy into Penn State being that great, but they're 7-2.
Well, and then it's a night game in Happy Valley. They're going to work the place out.
Yeah. Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting, and then Jake Rudock did get some tweets saying that he was not concussed.
No.
Didn't have a concussion, so he'll practice today and this week. So Jake Rudock should be good to go with the Lions. With that,
one person tweeted us that the Lions should just quit the NFL and put us all out of their misery.
Tweet back at him. Tweet back at him and ask him. But like, all jokes aside, seriously, all jokes aside. What do you want them to do? Because you can't just quit, guys. I mean, you can quit the Lions, and I welcome you to do that. That is completely your decision. But you can't just quit a team, and the organization is not going to sell, nor do you, as a Detroiter or Michigander, want the team to leave. You don't want that. That's bad for business.
No.
That is bad.
Remember when Cleveland, I mean, I don't remember, but, the one thing I always said is, hey, at least we're not Cleveland fans. But you know what? I'm starting to think Cleveland fans may have it better than us. Now, their team left town, won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And then now they have another team. So, but, I mean, would they have won those? I don't know. This isn't fun.
You don't want it. That's dangerous, murky water you do not want to tread in. That is, you lose an NFL franchise and you watch how quickly Detroit's forgotten about on the national scene in all sports, really. I mean, you have to have an NHL franchise or an NFL franchise in your city to be taken as a serious contender for a big metropolitan place.
And then what do you do with Ford Field too?
Exactly. You don't want another Silverdome in the middle of
middle
of downtown
where they're getting ready to build a brand new
arena. And look, we're not even suggesting the Lions are going to move out of Detroit. That is,
I don't think
so
they
far-fetched, and I would bet my life that would never happen. That's how serious I am. I don't think I'd actually do it, but that's how serious I am about that. But you don't want to play that.
Yeah, we got a couple more tweets. One from MCB that said he watched every minute was waiting for Martha to come to the sidelines to hand out pink slips. You know, I don't know what's wrong with MCB, but what the heck was he doing watching every minute of that game?
Yeah, what were you doing watching every minute of that game?
And then Big Ed said, sell the team to someone that wants a winning team, not just a tax write-off. And Sue chiming in with, she never turned it on. Good for Sue. She probably enjoyed a Sunday morning.
Yeah, Sue.
Enjoyed a whole Sunday.
What did you do, Sue? Did you rake your leaves? Did you eat some of that Halloween candy left over? The whole thing is, I think the second tweet hit it on the nail on the head. If the Fords aren't willing to actually come out and say, we are going to build a winning organization here, and here's why, and show me, don't tell me. Show me, don't tell me. Because I'm not interested in somebody else standing at a podium going, I'm going to bring a winning tradition to Detroit. The Lions have been in the dark for too long. Thanks, man. We get it. We got it. I know that. Show me. Now, you hear optimism, and I always think it's funny, and you guys will all know an instance when you watched an introductory press conference for anybody, but every coach in America says, this is my dream job. Number one, cliche as all can be. This is my dream job, and this is where I want to be, and we can win here. Okay, that's great. Perfect. Depending on the believability of those things, sure. Yeah, I'll bite a little bit. But show me. And this particular organization with this type of ownership hasn't shown me that. All right, we got a phone call. Sola is on the line. Sola, what's up, my friend?
Oh, hi.
How are ya?
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. Did you watch the Lions game yesterday?
I got up early, watched it, and as soon as they started, as soon as the score didn't go higher than 3 and the other team went higher, I thought, oh, they're going to lose again.
Now, how long have you been a Lions fan? How long have you been subjecting yourself to this?
Off and on for my entire life.
Your entire life. Are you tired? Are you tired of it?
At first I thought I was, but then I started to accept. I'm like, well, at least the universe is balanced.
But why continue to give your time is valuable, is it not?
Yeah.
Why would you continue to give your valued time to something that doesn't really, what does it give you in return, I guess?
Well, pretty much nothing. It's like when I think about it, I'm thinking, wow, these guys are getting paid to lose.
Yes.
Any of their salaries could have paid off my student loan.
Exactly.
You know what it is, Sue? Sola, I'm sorry. It's a bad addiction.
I hear that parallel thrown around a lot, like a bad relationship type thing.
But
like
see, I think
keep going back. But my question for you is what do you want to be done about it? And are you going to continue to give your valuable time? And I'm sure you have some Lions paraphernalia somewhere around, whether it be clothing or a flag or a sign, or do you go to the games? Like when are you saying enough is enough? That I'm not investing in this anymore.
Well, I don't have any. The only type of Lions paraphernalia I have is a desktop wallpaper, and I think for me enough will be enough is if or when they hire another guy whose salary is astronomically high. And I think the only way I'm going to change my mind is if someone else owns the team.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty general a thought process with that, because again, you know, the Fords, and I'm glad that you only have a desktop wallpaper because A, that's awesome, and B, it doesn't cost you anything. But again, your time is valuable, and the fact that you spend your time on a team that's not giving you anything in return, and I don't want to be, I'm not trying to convince you to not be a Lions fan, don't get me wrong. However, I feel bad hearing that, you know, it's like asking a question like, well, why are you in the relationship? Well, I don't know, because, like, what? What are you getting out of it? Are you getting anything out of it? Well, if not, then find a new team to cheer for. There's other teams in town. Hey, Pistons are playing pretty well. You should be a Pistons fan.
I think a part of me feels sorry for the Lions.
Yeah, well, and that's okay, and that's fine, and that's dandy. But at the same time, I felt sorry for them. I don't know, my whole life. So I'm kind of past that point of like, well, I'll come to your game even though you're going to lose. Like, no, I'm not spending my time and my energy if I'm a fan going and doing those things.
I mean, I can't even afford the tickets to go down to Lions.
Exactly, because they're so expensive, yet everybody keeps paying to go. I don't understand it. Sola, thank you. You sound like a sweetheart. I appreciate the call. Have yourself a good day, okay?
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
I liked her.
She was great.
She was great.
She's
The desktop wallpaper,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Could be stuck
She can change that. Sola, you know you can change that.
Could be stuck with a Lions tattoo.
Yeah, well, 16-0, get it tattooed.
I got tattooed.
Yeah, I know you got tattoos.
Yeah.
You're so cool, Max.
No, I got the Lions tattoo. That's not
Dude,
cool.
you should get a Lions tattoo.
I have one.
You do?
Yes.
Why?
I got
Why
it.
have we not talked about this?
I got it for free.
I don't care.
4 years ago.
They have to pay me to put the Lions logo on my body.
Do I regret it now?
Do you regret it now? Yeah, of course you regret it now.
It's right here. Right
Oh
here.
my God. Oh, it's on your calf. It's huge. It's like, I don't even care. The whole thing's falling apart. Blow it up. Blow it up. Cut the webcast. I can't do this anymore. He's got a tattoo on his leg of the Lions.
No, we don't need to do that. Nope. Anyways, so yeah, Lions are bad. They're so bad. You're still in that same position. This is great.
We're putting in another camera soon.
Yeah. When we put in the second camera and you can see what I look like. People out there, Justin knows what I look like. You can see the Lions tattoo.
Maxwell, let's talk about Michigan.
I was young and dumb, Justin. I was young and dumb.
You still are. All right. So we're moving on to Michigan now.
Switching gears. Let's talk about a winning team. It's
They
gonna
did
be
win.
Fun.
45-10, the final of the Lions. I don't know if here's the problem, and I understand that season ticket holders, like, they've already paid for the tickets, and so they're going to show up and go. But I also, at the same time, I'm like, guys, just, ugh. I hate to see that place. I don't want to see that place sold out for the rest of the year. I don't, because I think that a message needs to be sent.
Are we talking about the Lions?
We're moving on now. That's my last.
Okay. No, I wasn't sure.
All right, let me pick up my IFB box here.
Did you drop that?
Yeah, when my jaw dropped further. My jaw's down in the I can't even talk right now. All right.
We've talked.
Moving on. Here we go. Michigan Wolverines, congratulations on a nice win on the road. Minnesota. It seems that Halloween every year something kind of crazy happens. It's funny that Miami Duke finish was the way that it was, and that was the craziest thing that happened. No upsets in the top 25 beyond the Duke and the Pittsburgh losses, but they're 24th and 23rd respectively.
Whoa. Didn't Duke win that game?
No.
Technically.
Well, technically, but not in the record books. It'll never change.
No.
Again, a win is a win, especially if the referees screw it up. But Michigan. So, look, Michigan, and here's the thing that you have to try to avoid the national narrative, and I think that we've done a really good job of keeping Michigan's. We're not pumping Michigan as this world-beating team here at Channel 7. I don't think Brad, Casey, or I have ever gone out and said this is a playoff caliber team, because it's not.
Nope.
It never was. Even when they had 3 straight shutouts, it was never a playoff caliber team. It is a good team. Do not misconstrue what I am saying. They will win 8 or 9 games. That is a good season. Don't get that twisted. But this team, with its offensive inability, is where, going into the season, I knew that they would struggle. They have a quarterback who he's just not the type of guy who's going to be able to throw the football down the field with any effect. And the running game, while it has been good at times, is the only thing that they can rely on, and teams defensively can figure out how to stop that and make Jake Rudock beat you. Well, Minnesota did that, and Minnesota found out a way to beat that vaunted defense. I mean, 400 and some yards.
So here's the
total
thing:
yards?
are we going to call it? Did the defense in the 3 straight shutouts sort of more have to do with the fact that they were playing offenses with quarterbacks who were freshmen or true freshmen or redshirt freshmen but didn't have much experience? Because you look at these last 2 games, you have Connor Cook going off, and you have the Minnesota offense, who is an okay offense, scoring putting up 400 yards. So, did early on in the season, with the fact that Michigan never really played any awesome offenses, kind of misconstrued our thoughts as to how great they are.
I think that they did. I think that it did. And again, I'm not discounting 3 straight shutouts. I mean, that's really hard to do against anybody. I mean, I think that somebody made a really good point about how Alabama, who plays FCS schools in the preseason, they didn't play anybody, and all of a sudden, you know, they're 3 straight shutouts. Alabama hasn't done that ever. So the fact that Michigan was able to do that is a big deal.
Absolutely.
But no, I don't know. Certainly the schedule has a certain amount of play to go along with that. But at the same time, I think that you know, the national media wants Michigan. And this will be the same story we'll hear when Texas is good again. I mean, remember when Texas beat
USC?
Well, no, not that long ago.
Oh,
I'm talking about. Remember when Texas beat somebody this year, and everyone was like, "They're back, they're back, they're back."
Oklahoma in the Red River.
Yeah, that's what it was, and everyone thought they were back, and then they go out and lay an egg. But before we continue to talk about that, we have a very special guest on line 1 right now. Very special, near and dear to all of our hearts. It is one, Mr. Brad Galley.
What's up, Brad?
Hey guys, good afternoon. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Just got done talking with Jim Harbaugh and thought I'd call in and share what we had to talk about before our conversation here today at 6.
Would love to hear that.
Happy man. A very, 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 very happy man. Ramon, would you say he was a happy man? Extremely happy. Photographer extraordinaire, Emmy Award-winning Ramon Rosario sitting next to me here. And it was almost funny and comical. We got done with the interview, and Ramon and I looked at each other and said, that's a guy who I still think, as much as the coach wants to say they've moved on from a victory, is very happy with how that last play goes. And coming back from 2 weeks ago where Michigan State shocks them, Jim was asked in his press conference, did you see the Miami play against Duke? And he said, yes, I did. And I think special teams, we have the best in the country. We practiced it a lot. So I think for them to everything to come back almost full circle 2 weeks later and to win last second is something he still, as much as he wants to say he's over it, I don't think he's over yet, neither is the team.
Yeah, what was his thought on that Duke Miami play? Did he expand on that, or did he kind of just say, yeah, I saw it?
No, it was a nice Harbaugh answer where he just said, yes, I saw
Somebody
it.
maybe should have asked the question a little bit differently. What else I think the big thing is the Jake Rudock situation, and I saw some other tweets about Shane Morris redshirting and Wilton Spate coming in and obviously leading the team down the field for the winning score. I think that was a pretty big thing. He's got to be happy about the depth on his team.
Yeah, the Shane Morris thing, I think he basically put a bow on for the season. Shane's not going to see the field. He's redshirting. That was a combination of Shane and the team saying that he's going to redshirt. And I mean, I'd be surprised to see if, I don't know if this is stepping out of bounds, but I'd be surprised if Shane plays quarterback in Michigan ever again. And I think that's what Jim came out to say today, that Shane gave his input to the team before the season started. And we gave him his input. I don't know in what order. I'm sure it was the coaches to Shane first. So it'll be interesting to see what's in Shane Morris' future. I think there are plenty of coaches that think he could probably play college football. So we'll see what happens. But focusing on the now with Wilton Spate, I asked him, I said point blank, confidence-wise, do you have trust in Wilton if he has to be the guy this week? And he said, absolutely, but I'm not in the if-then business. You know that. So if Jake is our guy, that'd be great. If Wilton, then he kind of stopped himself and just said that we like to think all of our guys are capable. And you saw what Wilton did on Saturday, and that was nothing short of miraculous, coming off the bench, never playing a college football meaningful snap, and leading a team to a come-from-behind victory.
Yeah, no, it was spectacular to see how they did that. And it's funny because, you're on the one end of a loss on a last-second play, fluky, if you will. But what about time management? Because I don't want to call the Minnesota win fluky to the point where they would have, like there was a callback or there was a touchdown scored. The guy's knee was clearly down on the half-yard line. But what did he say about the clock? How did he expand on anything about how he might have approached that, or did he just kind of give the coach speak?
He didn't, but something he did allude to, and almost protecting his theory back from a couple weeks ago in losing to Michigan State, where he defended his team and said that it doesn't come down to just one play. It doesn't come down to just one play, and everyone there in that stadium knows that game came down to just one play. And so this week he went back and said the same thing today, and told me, beating Minnesota could have very well been a loss because it doesn't just come down to one play. The fact that James Ross made a big play right before that, the fact that Jabril Peppers came in and played, quarterback, wildcat, whatever you want to call it, in a situation where they needed to draw some attention at the quarterback position once Jake went down. There was some coach speak to it, but there was also some rationale to basically say this wasn't just that goal line stand. Michigan made a goal line stand huge.
Yeah.
A big first half goal line stand earlier in the game.
Yes, they did.
And so I think he said, listen, our defense, even though they got, the most yardage racked up against them this entire season, this is still a good defense, and this didn't just come in one play. This wasn't a fluke. This is what we've built all year.
Brad, give us one tease from your conversation with Harbaugh for tonight at 6 o'clock on Channel 7.
So he may come across as tone deaf, or at least deaf to the media, but he was not deaf to the attention his Halloween advice got this week.
Okay.
And he had some really, really fun things to follow up and say about that. So
that is
tune in at 6 o'clock for that.
That is a great tease because I'm looking forward to hearing him expand and see if he got any. And I hope that you asked him what his favorite candy was.
You'll have to watch.
Oh, come on, man! No insider knowledge here. All right, that's Brad Galley. You can check him out tonight, Channel 7 Sportscast, and Jim Harbaugh one-on-one during our 6 o'clock Sportscast. Brad, I'll see you in a little bit, bud.
All right, guys.
All right, thanks.
That's good stuff. That's real good stuff. I hope that he asked him because what's your favorite Halloween candy?
You know what? There's so many. As you can, once you see, you'll know there's so many good candies that Max likes. I'm a big Twix guy, a big Snickers. I would go Snickers.
Peanut butter Snickers has really grown on me lately.
Oh, I haven't. I don't think
What?
I've tried that.
The commercials with like the sharks eating the surfers who just had peanut butter Snickers.
No, you should. I watch stuff on DVR, so I.
Yeah.
What was your? You saw.
Seth, fix my computer. It's broke.
You saw. What was your favorite Jim Harbaugh Halloween costume? So there were two for me. One, my little brother dressed as Jim Harbaugh. It was kind of a last minute put together, so didn't see it. My other favorite, the dog. Did you see the dog dressed as Jim Harbaugh?
No.
Oh, I got to pull this up. It's a great costume.
It's just broken. I need to take it to the Apple store. Say hi, Seth. You're on. Hi. That's Seth. He's the man.
He's answering your phone calls.
Yeah, he is.
Call us 248-356-0077.
No, but I wanted to dive into Michigan a little bit more because look, great win again. He's right, and the thing is everyone wants to point to the Michigan State game. I'm not trying to go back to that game, but like that game was won on the last play. But at the same time, Michigan State had opportunities to win that game more handedly before that. Same thing with Michigan. They had a chance to kind of run away with that game because they were up early, and then they let Minnesota back in the game. But it does come down. Every play matters. And again, it's this team moving forward. Look, they've got that was their what 6th win?
Yeah,
they're 6-2
playoff.
So they're bowl eligible, and now they have Rutgers at home on Saturday.
3:30 start. What kind of crap is that?
Why?
I'm going to the game, and I don't like 3:30 starts because suddenly it's like you leave at 11:30, and then you're not back till midnight.
Yeah,
especially
longer
driving
games.
from Ann Arbor.
Yeah. So they got Rutgers, then they go on the road to Indiana, and I think that they'll be able to win both of those games, and all of a sudden you're looking at an 8-win Michigan team going to Penn State to play potentially a 9-win Penn State team. And then you have the game the week after that. So they can get really good, and they can get towards that 8-9 win window that I think that they can achieve. It'll be interesting to see how the quarterback situation plays out because I think that Rudock is the guy. Rudock's obviously proven himself to the coaching staff as to why he should be the guy moving forward, and it looks like he's going to be able to move forward. All right, got about 15 minutes left here.
Yeah, want to talk a little Michigan State?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit of Michigan State. And they had the bye week last week. Mark D'Antonio will have his press conference tomorrow. Did you fix it, Seth?
Maybe.
Maybe.
On the road Saturday night in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Well, I just looked at it a minute ago. Michigan State plays 2 teams the next 2 weeks in Maryland and Nebraska that are combined 5-12.
Mm-hmm.
Can't stub your toe here, Spartans. I don't think they will. I think that D'Antonio teams have proved themselves enough over the course of the 7-8 years he's been there that they don't take these games lightly, and they they haven't fallen into a trap game except for once, and the trap game was, I believe, Notre Dame. So we're not talking about, any cream puff that they're going to look down. Look, Nebraska's a tough place to play, but Tommy Armstrong was in a walking boot all last week. Who knows if he'll even play? He's their starting quarterback. The other quarterback had 5 turnovers, but that's been an issue with that team. Even when Bo Pelini was there, going back to last year, I really don't think that Nebraska's going to. And plus, you're playing a team at the point of the season where basically they can't even get 6-6. Like they got Ohio State. No, they don't. They got Wisconsin, and I think they got Iowa later on. But what are you playing for in Nebraska anymore? And that's part of the scheduling thing when you look at it. Like sometimes you catch teams early who are playing like lights out, and then if you play that same team that's lost its season, I really have the feeling a lot of that had to do with the Rutgers-Ohio State game. Why Ohio State was so dominant? Rutgers goes, well, we had a chance to beat a top 10 team at our home. We didn't do it. What a letdown that is. You approach things differently. And that's the same thing that the Lions are going to go through. Any losing football team is going to go through that. You lose interest as the season goes on because you go, well, we can't really win anything. So what are we putting? Why am I putting maximum effort out for a season that is for naught?
Yeah.
Now, you also hear the other side of that theory that says, well, we can get one good win, one really big win. But I see them catching Nebraska at a time where, like, they lost to Purdue. I mean, Purdue. If that's not something that's going to shut down those players, I don't know what is. I mean, that team hadn't won a Big Ten game, an FBS game in 20 games. It's more than 2 years. Oh, boy. So you're...
Yeah,
you're losing to Purdue, and I'm sure there was like 20,000 people maybe at that Purdue game. I mean, you're losing a high school atmosphere type game on the road to a team that stinks. It's it's Darren Hazel's first Big Ten win as a coach.
So that's a good time for Michigan State to play Nebraska. I mean,
great time to catch them.
And they're coming off a bye week.
They're going to get healthy. They're going to be good. They're going to go there. They're going to force turnovers. They're going to try to find the running game again. And Connor Cook is going to do what Connor Cook does. I think they go into Lincoln. They get a nice win this weekend. And then they come home and they play again. They're going to play a Maryland team. Who's Maryland play this week? Because Maryland plays. Maybe are they on a bye?
Maybe. One sec. So they got Maryland. They play.
Because Maryland just lost to Iowa.
Wisconsin.
Oh, so Maryland's going to probably get beat by Wisconsin, and then all of a sudden,
Wisconsin team too.
Decently bad Wisconsin team.
But
again, you're playing teams at the end of the year, 2 or 3 weeks left of the season, and you're kind of just like, well, we ain't got nothing to play for. Whereas Michigan State's going to go out, we have everything to play for, and if we have a letdown here, if I don't give my maximum effort today, there is no tomorrow. Whereas the other team's going, well, if I don't give my maximum effort, there's always tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's the mindset that I think that creeps in. Whether you want it to or not, it's hard to coach against that. Especially, this is the worst. What are they? 3-6?
Who?
Nebraska? Or are they 3-5 or 3-6? Regardless, I really think
3-6.
3-6.
Seventh place.
So they need to win out against Michigan State and whoever else. And one of them's Iowa. So they have 2 top 10 teams in the last 3 weeks. I don't see it for Nebraska this year.
It's a good couple of games for Michigan State to have going into that Ohio State game on November 21st.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that's
probably an Ohio State team quarterbacked by J.T. Barrett.
Yes, well, it will be quarterbacked by J.T. Barrett. If you haven't heard the news, J.T. Barrett was cited for an operating while intoxicated.
OVI?
OVI in the great state of Ohio. He is not 21 years old. He blew a .09, I believe it was.
It's somewhere around there.
It was just above the legal limit, but he is a minor and possessed it.
Still the legal limit.
But the ruling is, and it's a misdemeanor, so he's not like a felon. It's not a felony. But he will miss the game this weekend. I believe they play.
No, they're on a bye week this week.
No. They were on this week, but I'm talking this coming weekend. Ohio State plays.
I thought they were on a bye week this week. Then they had a game, and then they have the Michigan State game. No.
They were on a bye week this weekend. They didn't play.
Yep.
I think it's the Minnesota game. If I'm not mistaken, it's Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They play Minnesota, and J.T. Barrett will not play. Cardale Jones will, and then they'll play Michigan State the week after, or No, 2 weeks after that. But regardless, the suspension came down from the athletic handbook was a automatic 14-day or 10-day suspension. That is, now, I do believe that suspension means no football-related activities.
Yeah, I'm pretty
so
sure.
he is out. As far as I'm concerned, what a horrible decision to make.
Well, and you tweeted that out on Saturday. What did you? Let me see if I can find it.
What a horrible decision to make. Now, look, kids are going to be kids. I get it. I did some dumb stuff when I was 20 years old. No, everybody has. Everybody can raise their hand and say, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that one thing that one time. But at the same time, I wasn't the starting quarterback in a quarterback controversy battle for a job for the #1 team in the country.
Yeah, your
Bro.
tweet from Saturday. I'll nenever understand college athlete superstars getting behind a wheel after drinking. No safe ride system. Oh, wait, call a cab in all caps. There's a cab, there's Uber, there's Lyft. And the thing with like Uber and Lyft, it's so easy. You literally pull out your phone, press a button to set where you are. Then they come pick you up.
Yep.
You set where you're going to go. They drop you off, and you get out of the car.
And no cash is exchanged. So
Nope.
you put it all on a card. So here's another thing. And again, like it's tough to get into these things when it comes to like how athletes should be treated on campus. But don't you think there might be somebody out there who's like, you know what, I'd like to meet JT Barrett. I'll drive him around for the night. Now, I don't know if that's the right way to handle it, but at the same time, fraternities and sororities have safe ride systems where they have designated people who, on any given night, are in charge of taking phone calls and picking people up and transporting them around campus. Whether or not they are drinking or not, it is a safe ride situation. You can use it for what you need. If you need to go to the library, when I was in school, I had pledges drive me to the library and pick me back up after I was done studying because I didn't want to walk in the middle of winter. That's what a safe ride is for. Now, I understand that you can partake in activities that may hinder your ability to drive a car, but you can have, that's why I don't understand why schools don't take it upon themselves to be like, hey, we're going to teach you a little bit about accountability, student athletes, because they all talk about how they're a fraternity and sorority in their own little clique. You know, all the football players, the basketball players, the women's soccer, all of the sports kind of have that unique relationship on campus where they are student athletes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a school, it's a group. It's a group.
So why wouldn't a
common.
group say, hey, you know what? We're going to do safe rides. We've got 900 student athletes on our campus. It's almost like a lottery to get drawn to be a safe ride. There are 365 days a year. You're only on campus for, what, 8 months, if that?
Yeah.
So 8 months, and if you have a safe ride every night, you still don't even tap half of your student athletes. You're not, and you're asking for one night.
Well, you can't, and they shouldn't be going that far from campus either.
No, well, that's what. But my whole point is
Yeah.
if you're saying, hey, student athletes, this is our fraternity, we're going to make sure that none of these incidences ever happen again because we're going to have 1, 2, 5. You have 900 to 1,000 to 1,500. I mean, the ranges on how many sports your school has. But you can't tell me that you can't say, guys, we're going to do a safe ride system so we can get athletes to and from where they need to go on any given night. Now, obviously, there's going to be nights like Fridays and Saturdays where student athletes who are above the age can do what they want to do, if it's like a bye week. JT Barrett had no business getting in a car on a bye week and putting himself and his team in the jeopardy that he did. He is gone from the team for 10 days. This whole week of practice, he ain't there. So Cardale Jones is absolutely going to take back the thing. They are better with JT Barrett running the show than Cardale Jones. And this is another week going into arguably their biggest game of the year in 3 weeks with Michigan State for the Big Ten championship, or the Big Ten East Division championship, if you will.
Basically, let's call it what it is, the Big Ten championship.
Well, yeah, don't discount Iowa. I don't love Iowa, but at the same time.
Well, and then you got poor timing on Urban Meyer's part because earlier in the week he went on Fox News and talked about this Fox Sports article. Urban Meyer, who had nearly 40 players arrested while he was in charge of the Florida Gators, went on Bill O'Reilly's Fox News television show to advertise his new book about how to instill discipline and culture. I mean, is this real life? Clay Travis wrote. You know, he goes on that week, and then his quarterback gets arrested. I mean, he was arrested Saturday morning for OVI. I mean, And because it's a misdemeanor, it's a 10-game suspension, and then the rest is up to the discretion of the coach. Even if he does decide to suspend him another game, he's back for the Michigan State game.
I think so too, and that's the.
There's no way. It's Urban Meyer. It's Ohio State. There's no way JT Barrett does not play in that Michigan State game. It's their most important game they've played since the national championship.
I think so. So here we go. Here's some big news, breaking news. Speaking of this, our buddy Mike Cairns at WEWS in Cleveland. He is that's our sister station over there. Ohio State's JT Barrett forfeits summer scholarship, retains chance to earn it back.
What does that do?
It means that he has to pay for his schooling this summer. Ohio State tuition for non-Ohio residents, like JT Barrett, is $27,365 per year, plus $11,666 for room and board.
Let's be honest. JT Barrett's not paying that. There's somebody.
You want to know that, I don't know, Delton Williams is paying his way right now at Michigan State. Here's the thing, and if Urban Meyer is true to his word in saying that I am the man of discipline and I need to make sure these young men understand the decisions that they make impact their futures.
That's a load of crap in my opinion. He's saying that.
Hey, he's saying it. Here's the problem. Now you got to back it up. Now you put a kid in an opportunity for you to either go against your word. And again, I still think Ohio State can win with Cardale Jones. They obviously have been able to do that. They won a national championship with that guy as their quarterback. It's not a bad place to be. We're not talking about Connor Cook going off and then all of a sudden you're asking Tyler O'Connor to step in, who's never played a snap, a meaningful snap that is.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, no, they're going to be fine.
No matter what happens.
I think that it's an unfortunate situation because you want to beat the best team with their best players. I think Michigan fans out there could also agree that they would want to make sure that they beat Ohio State at full strength. Not that they wouldn't take the victory otherwise, but I think that everyone, can understand. It's an unfortunate situation, but it is what it is, and I don't know. It's going to be an exciting week. Mark D'Antonio's press conference tomorrow. He'll be talking about Nebraska, and I guarantee you one thing that he will say is this is a very good football team, but their record does not reflect it.
Possibly.
That's the way that you're going to look at it because, again, they've had their hearts broken. BYU beat them on a Hail Mary after they won the first game. Oh, wait, no, they didn't because they didn't stop the Hail Mary. Next week, Northwestern beat them on like a Hail Mary play. I mean, it's been a tough start, and then now they lost to Purdue. I just think that they're going to be lifeless. I think Michigan State has a real opportunity to go in there and put the foot on the gas pedal and do not let up and beat Nebraska, the name brand. I don't care if they're 3-6. You go in there and you pound Nebraska and you beat them by 20 points, 25 points in Lincoln at night, people are going to be watching because the first playoff selections come out tomorrow night.
Yep.
And you know where Michigan State's going to be sitting?
Probably
number 6. Maybe number 7 because Alabama might jump in front of them for this week. Now, again, that doesn't matter right now.
Yeah,
but if you go to Nebraska and you beat them soundly,
you got a chance to be a 5.
You got a chance to be a 5. And until one of those top 4 loses, if you beat Ohio State, that's what it all comes down to.
Exactly.
Michigan State's not getting in with a loss. I mean, and that's the problem with the 4-team only playoff is because you only have 4 teams, and if you have one loss, I mean, it's really tough for you to be able to get in there.
Especially when that one loss is coming to a team. I mean, that's what we've been saying since the start of this webcast.
Right.
However many weeks ago, that Ohio State Michigan State game is going to determine who's going to the college football playoff from the Big Ten.
Exactly. All right. Well, hey, time flies when you're having fun. 1:30 on a Monday. We appreciate you spending some of your time with us today here on the WXYZ Digital Sports Chat Lunch thing. Seth?
What did you call it? What'd you call it?
Just in time.
No, not that one.
Yeah, that's the best name for it.
No, what you said something. I forgot what it was. No, that's okay.
You don't ever listen to me. That's Max White. I'm Justin Rose. Seth Myers is out there running the phones. We appreciate you guys spending some of your day with us. Pass the word along. We'll be back next Monday doing the same thing, same time, right here on WXYZ.com. Have yourself a wonderful week.